Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? Can everybody hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? I want to say hello to Jeanette and Moonchild and Rita and 171 and Carrie Johnston and more paper, please. Jackie Myers, Starlight Glazer, good vibes. Hold on. Okay, hold on just 1 second. If you hear that dinging, that's my text messages on my computer. Just 1 moment, please. While I try to get this. Let's see. Oh, K Curious Robin. Good vibes. How you doing? Elena, Sammy, Jeanette, Lotus. Oh, good vibes. My mom says that she loves it. She says, "Dile que me encantó." She loves it. For the little pouch and the little purse that you were so kind to make for her. She loves the colors. She loves the colors. She has a thing for like rosy colors and mauves. So you were right on the money with that one. Oh goodness, I missed a super chat. I'm so sorry. Hello to, and thank you to, let's see, Margarita. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. Freda, Sherry Ann, Renee, Virginia, Marby. There's my Jenny. There's my little Jenny, Jen. Roses and Bees, Virginia Bird, Norabel Rivera. Hello, saludos, bendiciones a ti también. Muchísimas gracias. Amy, sweet darling Lulu, Butterflies, Clarence, Linda Bishop, Bam Bam. Hello, how are you? Let's see who else. Denise, Hieroglyphics. Hello, and Pamela. Citurino, Sherry Ann. Oh, you were watching Skinny Boy Randy? I need to catch up with his stuff. Oh, Jenny, the tomatoes, my cherry tomatoes are going bonkers. Oh, thank you, Marie. Yeah, I had I guess I have issues with vertigo. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this. A few years ago, I got my first case of vertigo, and I ended up in the hospital because we didn't know what was wrong with me. I was laying in bed, and it was happening over a few nights. And I would notice that when I would roll over, I would start getting like spinny inside of my head. And I just thought, it's just something weird, so I didn't pay attention to it. And then it continued until one night I rolled over and the spinning got so incredibly bad that I got very sick. I vomited all over the bed, all over the floor. I think Moose got some vomit on him. It was really bad. I couldn't stand up. My eyes were going like this, like really bad. And it wouldn't stop. And we didn't know what was wrong with me. Hi, Sienna. How are you? We didn't know what was wrong with me. So we went to the emergency room. My husband had to try to carry me down the stairs because I couldn't walk. I felt like I was being pinned. If you guys know that that old carnival ride, the Gravitron, it looks like a big spaceship, and it doesn't have seats. It just has padded walls, and you go inside and you stand against the padded walls. Well, that that carnival ride, once it starts going, it just spins. and it's the centrifugal force that pins you to the seat. And so you don't move. So you can go sideways, you can go upside down, but it's that centrifugal force. Well, that's what it felt like I was being pinned, like I could not move at all. So Peanut had to carry me down the stairs and everything and get me in the car and drive very slowly while I was carrying like a bag, because I could not stop vomiting. And when we got to the hospital and waited, and I got to see the doctor, and he said that I had positional benign something vertigo. And what's interesting is that when it happens to me when I'm laying down. So like when I'm in bed about to go to sleep, or when I'm sleeping and I go to change positions, like if I'm sleeping with my head facing this way and I roll over to face that way, that's when it hits me. And he said that it was just something that's random, but once you get it, you run the risk of getting it more often. And the way that he explained it to me is inside of your ear, there's a cochlea. It's kind of shaped like a ring, let me see if I can draw it for you guys. It's like this, the cochlea inside the ear. Well, inside the ear, you have these little tiny microscopic little hairs. Here, let me do it. I'll do it in red. These tiny microscopic little hairs. And these little hairs, there's also a fluid that's gelatinous that sits in your ear. I forgot what this is called. But these right here are called otoliths. And what happens is sometimes one of these comes detached and it falls into this. And that's what causes your balance to come off and cause vertigo. But what's interesting is I only get it when I'm laying down. So it's in my inner ear. He said that it was just something that happens that's random. I have very bad hearing damage and hearing loss from my time in service. So I do not have evidence. I have not gone to see like a proper doctor. I have not gone to the VA. But I have a suspicion that it could be a service-related injury, just because when you're working around aircraft and the types of environments that I was working in, doesn't matter the amount of hearing protection, you're going to have ear damage, So, and sometimes before this happens, I can feel it coming on, because you get a sense of cloudiness in your head, you're foggy headed. I can sit there and read something and it doesn't make sense. I can't process information. So, and then sometimes it goes away by itself. I do those little exercises where you sit at the edge of the bed and then you like throw yourself back really fast while turning your head one way, and then sitting up really fast while turning your head the other way. But it just seems to be happening a bit more frequently. And sometimes I just don't have no indication of when it's going to happen. It just does. Sometimes it clears up in a day or two. Sometimes it just lingers, So it's, this time I didn't get sick at all. I was just feeling really just way off, like my head, like that cloudy headed where I can't, it's cloudy headedness. It's lethargy. It's tiredness. It just feels really, really, really weird. And I don't have a problem with it when I'm standing around and moving. But if I lay down and then get up, it's when it affects me. And that, when was it? Friday night is when it got me last week. And it kind of lingered through to Sunday. That's why I canceled my reading with Johnny and Jenny. My head was not right. I was funked. I was funked up. And So I couldn't really concentrate. I had trouble understanding things. So I'm not going to try to, you know, so yeah, that was my situation. So it just kind of comes and goes. And I guess I really do need to take the time and take a day off and schedule an appointment with the doctor. And so it just, according to the ER doctor, he just said once you get it, you run the risk of getting it more often, and it's just random. So that's that situation, but I'm feeling much better today. So thank you guys so much. And I'm sorry I wasn't there with Johnny and Jenny. I didn't even watch the show, you guys, because I take meclizine, which is an antihistamine that really does help with the vertigo. But the thing is that it knocks me on my ass. Like I'm done. I am lights out. That's it. I'm sleeping like Sleeping Beauty. I'm not, I'm like not waking up at all. So, but the meclizine does work. And I do have a prescription for meclizine. And I had gone to Target because you can also purchase it over the counter. And I carry a little bottle of meclizine with me just in case we go somewhere and we have to spend the night, that I have it on my person at all times. But even the non-drowsy formula still, like, it just, I'm out. I'm totally out. So yeah, so that's what's been going on. Feeling better. But the thing is, so here's another thing that happened, just to catch you guys up. Hold on, I'm going to turn on another light here. So another thing that happened was, since I got the vertigo Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I only get it when I'm laying down, I've been sleeping in a position that kind of keeps my head somewhat a little bit elevated and doesn't make it easy for me to be rolling over. So what happened now is now I have a freaking kink in my, okay, so I'm going to draw you another picture. Okay, here's me. There's my head. Here's my neck. There's my shoulders. Right here, I have a kink that goes all the way through here, all the way down here, and down to my very, very, very top, to my fingers, to where it feels like pins and needles all over my hand because of this freaking kink I have right there from sleeping in a position to try to not give myself the spins when I'm laying. So I've been using my my little heating pad and trying to massage it out, but I'll take that over the spins any day, because it's gross. It's just not a good place to be inside of your head when it feels like you're on a carnival ride and you can't get off. So that's what's been going on. Sorry, I've been MIA, but yeah. So I know LLC. Oh, I see Brandon. Hi, Brandon, my dear. So yeah, so that's what's been going on. I'm all janked up. But I'm doing good. Everything's going great. Well, thank you so much, my dear Brandon. Hi, Rolanda and Marie Hansen and LLC and Robin, Pierre Walker. Oh, Patricia. Hello, Patricia. And Pamela. So yeah. So did anybody watch the smackdown of Fauci on Rand Paul? Hi, Carol Gallagher. That was a sight to see. Oh my gosh. Okay, so to clear the record, I posted a meme on my community page. Okay. Please keep in mind that is only a meme. Dr. Fauci did not say that. Okay. It's just making fun of the whole situation that took place. And the meme that I posted, let me see here if I can load the page. Let me see here. The meme that I posted. Oh, come on now. Because I thought it was hilarious and I had to share. It says it's got a picture of Rand Paul on one side and Fauci on the other, and it has Rand Paul saying, well, I'm a doctor and I say, and then it has Dr. Fauci saying, you're an ophthalmologist and I don't need glasses to see you're an asshole. Okay, so no, Dr. Fauci did not call him an asshole, just to clear the record. He just called him a liar quite a few times and that he would not retract his statement. And that was a smackdown. Hi, J-Lo, how are you? That was a fantastical smackdown. And I was like, yes, if you guys have not seen Dr. Fauci smackdown Rand Paul, please, by all means, get off this video right now and go YouTube it, because it was glorious. It was glorious. Yeah, because I guess, what was it? Rand Paul was trying to get Fauci to say that he lied about the Wuhan lab that was being funded to spread the virus or some conspiratorial crap. And it's just like, I was like, no wonder that. Okay, I'll say it again. I'm not for physical violence, but I can see why Rand Paul's neighbor beat his ass a few years ago. So, and did you guys see when Dr. Fauci called him a liar and he's like, you do not know what you're talking about? Like his head was doing the thing like that. He went total freaking ghetto, Bronx, Brooklyn, New York, Italian on his ass. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. He's like, I will not retract my statement, and I want it put on the record that you are a liar. If there's anybody lying in here, it's you. You don't know what you're talking about. You do not know what you're talking about. And oh my gosh. And it was funny because when you watch it, you can see Rand Paul, all he was doing was just sitting there drinking his water, like thinking, damn, I just shit the bed on that one. It was classic. It was exactly, Sandra. It was classic. It was so great to see. It was so great to see. And so I guess now there's quite a bit of backpedaling and tractions all over the place. Oh, to try acupuncture? Well, Marie, see, the way that it was explained to me, it's my inner ear. My inner ear. So, I mean, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I remember when exactly hieroglyphics, a doctor who should know better, ophthalmologist or not, he still went to medical school, goes to the Capitol and goes swimming after he tested positive for COVID. I don't get it. Oh, it helped with your vertigo, Sag? Okay. They put the needle in your ear? Oh, hell no. Nope. Nope, I'm out. No, ma'am. Yeah, it's bad, Anne. I believe it. It's bad. It's bad, and you just got to wait for it to just clear out. Yeah, Marco Rubio, Mitch McConnell, Sean Hannity, the people over at Fox and Friends, oh, so it's the outside area. Okay, Patricia, I thought she meant like inside my ear. They're all, I guess, Fox News got the letter from the lawyers that, hey, if you don't start telling people to get vaccinated and stop pushing anti-vax, pandering and just crap, basically, they're going to be held legally liable. So Sean Hannity was on there pleading with his audience. Not Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends, but the other guy that's on there, that's the older person. He was telling people to get vaccinated. Hey, Sunflower. Hi, Cappy's mom. So, you know, and that whole conversation with Brian Kilmeade and that other guy was quite interesting, because Brian Kilmeade was trying to argue the fact that it's still a person's choice whether they want to get vaccinated or not, and that if they're not vaccinated, they're taking a risk. And then the other guy on that show, I forget his name, was telling people to go get vaccinated. And Brian Kilmeade said something, I can't remember his exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, it's their free choice, you know? So it's like, yeah, go ahead, freaking die, you know? And I think it's a little bit too late for a lot of them to retract their statements. It's been well over a year and a half that the propaganda arm of the Republican Party, along with state legislators, was it Tennessee, I think, that took away all vaccines for children. You know, it's gotten to a point where, in my view, they've pushed that propaganda so far that it's going to be nearly impossible for them to convince their base to do what's in their best interest as far as their health is concerned. Which I guess it would be a good time to address this. It's not just the right wing propaganda that is anti-vaccine against a deadly pandemic. Couple of weeks ago, there was something that I saw here in the community in a live stream in the chat, where there was a comment made that one of the viewers that was in the chat room had gotten a reading with a psychic who told them that they had accessed their Akashic records and that they should not get the vaccine. That person in the chat room said that that confirms what their guides and their dreams have been telling them. A few videos ago, I think you guys remember, I went on an incredible rant about frauds and charlatans and all that stuff here on YouTube, and that's an example of what I'm talking about. And then just, I believe it was today or yesterday, I think it was today, I came across another video. You know how once you start looking at certain things on YouTube, there is an algorithm that kicks in and it will give you recommendations. So there was a recommended video for me and I clicked on it, and the thumbnail of the video was extremely interesting. And I was like, huh, I wonder what this is about. So I clicked on that video. And when I ask you guys to please use common sense and rational thought and logic, and to not suspend reason in favor of spiritual development. This is what I'm talking about. This individual made a video about how we are living in the fifth dimension. We are fifth dimensional beings, that the sheeple are the ones who are being controlled by the government to get vaccinated. And all we have to do to reclaim our freedom and be free of this pandemic is to rise our consciousness to the fifth dimension, since we are fifth dimensional beings, and decalcify our third eye. We don't need the vaccines. It's everywhere. It's not just what we would say is the right-wing media. There is a lot of misinformation and a serious amount of these new agey catchphrase, drive-by fast food spiritualism that has no substance, especially substance where they're using catchphrases of a science that they do not understand to give credence to, or give of some sort of meaning to the buffet of bullshit they're feeding their audience. I don't understand it. The whole thing was, there's a higher dimensional light, we're fifth dimensional beings, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? We're fifth dimensional beings. No, we're three-dimensional beings living in a fourth dimensional reality. The only thing that exists in the fifth dimension, according to physicists, is for string theory to marry gravity with electromagnetic energy. There's no light up there. So where is he saying that this higher dimensional light is coming from? There's no dimensional light in the fifth dimension, according to physics. And then the person could not even simplify or differentiate between what I'm trying to think, because my brain is still foggy a little bit. Quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is the mathematical laws that are applied to explain quantum physics at a subatomic level. We're talking smaller than atoms and protons and neutrons. It's smaller than that. We're talking, neutronites and freaking quasars and crazy shit. That's the foundation of string theory. So they pluck stuff that sounds legit, have no idea what it means, serve it up in a buffet of bullshit and tell you we're fifth dimensional beings, decalcify your third eye, eat healthy, take your vitamins, raise your consciousness, and don't be a sheeple. What is that? What is that? And it's not even QAnon conspiracy theories. This is quackery on a spiritual level. Do you see what I'm saying? And the whole thing about that other reader that told the person that they accessed their Akashic records and they said not to take the vaccine. Well, if I were to sit here and tell you, I read your Akashic records, go jump off a building, you can fly. Well, what's going to happen is, if you jump off that building, the laws of gravity are going to make you go splat right into the ground. It doesn't matter how hard you believe. It doesn't matter how hard you believe. There's still laws that apply to reality. And to tell a person to not get vaccinated because their Akashic record said so, and this confirms what your guides are saying, that entire mentality is mental to me. I don't understand. I don't understand, because now you're implying that your guides are going to protect you from being at risk of catching a deadly virus. Well, then are your guides also going to protect every single person you come into contact with, and every single person those people come into contact with, and so on and so forth indefinitely? Because there's no evidence of that. If there was, we wouldn't be at over 600,000 people dead in this country alone. In this country alone. Please, for the love of God, be very, very, very mindful of what you're watching and who you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, any form of social media. It does not have to be right wing. There is an entire movement of these spiritual gurus, that are just serving a buffet of bullshit. And it puts people at risk. If you have questions about your health or the vaccines, please, please, please go and see your doctor. Do not walk into a live stream where somebody's pulling cards and ask a reader if you should take the vaccine. Any reader that gives you medical advice at that level is full of shit. Run. That is between you and your doctor. Please be mindful, be diligent. And like I said, there is nothing wrong with you trying to learn about your spirituality or anything like that. I encourage it. Please do. But do not throw away common sense. You're putting yourself and others at risk. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say. It's not just Fox News and Republicans. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So please be very careful and see your doctor. Okay? So yeah, please, there's, like I said, exactly, Pierre. It's not that I'm trying to harp on anybody, but do not suspend common sense and rationality in the pursuit of something that is a personal belief. It is not fact. It is a personal belief. Please. That's all I'm saying. That makes these people no different than the evangelicals or any other cult-like mentality where there is no reasoning. It's just blind faith and devotion to something that the data proves otherwise. The scientific evidence is the people that are being infected and dying right now are the ones that are unvaccinated. Clothe it under spirituality, your Akashic records or the fifth dimension and a calcified third eye and all this other crap. You're putting people at risk. Please be very diligent. Please be very diligent. Speak to your doctor. And yeah, the microchips, Jen. I mean, God damn it, get the hell out of here with that crap. Seriously? Yeah, Deba, that's what I'm talking about. This new agey stuff is insanity. If you can heal everything with herbs and vitamins and meditation and yoga, we wouldn't have measles. We wouldn't have AIDS. We wouldn't have herpes. We wouldn't have coronavirus. We wouldn't have SARS. We wouldn't have a laundry list of viral infections if you can just magically wish it away with herbs. It doesn't work like that. Now, am I saying that it doesn't work? Well, there could be a holistic property, but that does not mean you ignore science. Use the herbs and all the other holistic stuff in conjunction with regular medicine. It just, please use common sense. Please, for the love of God, I'm begging you. I mean, please. So sorry about the rant, but that's some of the things that I was referring to in that last video I did with Johnny, where I was just ranting on and on and on about these charlatans. It's this sort of stuff, and putting people at risk. Yeah, it's not spirituality. It's Callie's kid. It's not spirituality. It's ignorance. It is absolute ignorance. Well, Lotus, thank you, but it's just, it and I encourage you guys, and I would ask you that if there is anyone that or that you may come into contact with that is one of these new agey spiritual, I'm just going to meditate my way out of COVID and not get a vaccine, just listen, and if you can, try to encourage them to seek actual medical advice, and for anybody that's interested in this fifth dimensional stuff and the way that these people are using it to explain this other thing is it's just straight up bullshittery. Like it, yeah. So if you're interested in quantum physics, I implore you to check out Dr. Michio Kaku. He is the leading scientist behind string theory and M theory. He's a brilliant mind. You can probably find his books at the library if you don't want to make the investment in purchasing a book. A lot of, with COVID and everything, a lot of the libraries now have digital copies that you can borrow for 10 days. If you don't want to read, you can listen to the audiobooks perhaps through your library. And if that doesn't interest you, just look him up on YouTube. It's Michio, Michio, Kiku, Kiku. And at least try to understand the concepts. Because what I have seen in certain factors of this new agey stuff is borrowing parts of a science that they don't understand, that makes no sense, and applying it to something else that makes no sense at all, and just selling delusions. So, just educate yourselves. Am I saying go get a freaking PhD in astrophysics? No, just listen to the leaders in that field so that you understand. So when someone gives you a bill of bullshit, you recognize the bill of bullshit, So rant over. I'm sorry about that. I just thought it would be a good time to address some of these with certain things that are happening in YouTube, in the YouTube land, so that you guys are aware. And speak to your doctors. If you're vaccine hesitant, go talk to your doctor. If you have concerns about your health and you're hesitant to get the vaccine, go to your doctor. Do not seek medical advice from some psychic or a reader on YouTube. Okay? So I do too, Chris. I do too. I am fully vaccinated and I still wear my mask when I have to go to the store. I do. So I figured today, I spoke with Jenny, and I'm sorry I've been off for a bit. And I asked her for some ideas on what to read on. And so I guess we shall begin with a few questions. And then I wanted to get into a Jared Kushner grand tableau. Because what's that guy's name? Tom Barrack? Barrick, whatever his name is, was just arrested the other day here in, I think it was Los Angeles, because he was working as an unregistered agent for the UAE and the Saudis. So Jenny and another friend of ours had sent us the text, and the first thing, I hadn't even gone on the news or anything, and the first thing that crossed my mind was, when are they going to get Jared Kushner? Because Jared Kushner was doing the exact same thing. So I wanted to do a Kushner GT. And then I wanted to ask just a couple of questions in regards to exactly, Jenny, exactly. I wanted to, because, and also here's another thing that I was thinking about today. Tom Barrack, whatever the hell his name is. For some reason, there's something in my brain that's telling me if he is going down, not only would he be implicating Kushner, because Kushner was doing the same thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if what Barrick was doing ties back into Weaselberg, because he was lobbying the UAE and the Saudis for himself. And I'm not quite sure, but it almost seems like, oh, is it? I haven't seen that one yet, J-Lo, from Malcolm Nance. I'm going to have to check that one out. I love Malcolm Nance, dude. He was Navy too. Fellow sailor. So if Barrick was, thank you, J-Lo. If Barrick just got busted for lobbying the UAE and Saudi Arabia, that money, I'm almost certain, somehow, way, shape, or form, made its way into the Trump org, which would imply Weaselberg and that crime as well. Because what's his face? Kushner. I remember Kushner, there was something going on when Kushner was in the administration where he was trying to get funded for the 666 property that he had. And Qatar, or Qatar, however you pronounce it, the Qatar country, Qatar. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways that I don't know which one's the correct one. There was a deal he was trying to get through Qatar for the 666 property. And when they didn't give it to him, I forget exactly what it was, but Jared Kushner did some foreign policy crap that hurt Qatar. And he backed the Saudis because the Saudis were the ones that bailed his ass out on that 666. Oh, the blockade on Qatar. Yep. So do you see what I'm saying? So that's, I don't know where the links are, but it seems like if Barrack was lobbying these Saudi countries and then Kushner got bailed out by those Saudi countries, I'm thinking he's in trouble there somehow. But if that money was also helping Trump, then it had to go through the organization, Trump org or Trump campaign or Trump something, that would also implicate Weaselberg on something else. So yeah, so I wanted to look at that. So yeah, the 666 property was a while ago. It was a while ago. I think it was his first or second year in office, something like that. I mean, it's hard to tell. We got so I know Qatar didn't loan him the money, the Saudis did, but when Qatar didn't loan him the money, he barricaded or he did something to Qatar to punish them because they didn't give him the money to bail him out. So that's what I'm thinking. I could be totally wrong, and it could be absolute speculation. So, and then a couple of days ago, the news came out that there was a bunch of these Trump cabinet officials that were referred to the Justice Department under William Barr by their respective IGs for criminal prosecution for corruption, and Elaine Chao. Nobody's going to touch her. Nobody's going to friggin' touch her. Are you kidding me? Like, no, I pulled cards on that earlier today while I was dialed into a meeting. And I got that, yes, they'll investigate her, maybe. But she clears it. It's too politically charged. It could give the, according to that read, it could give the what's the word, impropriety, that it's a politically motivated thing, even though she broke the law, so it's one of those weird situations. Yeah, exactly. PJB is saying that Kushner claimed that Qatar was harboring long terrorists without any evidence, and he was able to put a blockade on them. Yeah, and that was only retaliation for them not taking on the loan for the 666 and bailing them out. So I'm interested to see what happens with that whole entire situation. Oh, I haven't watched Rachel Maddow yet. I DVR'd the show, so I'll watch it after this, but I haven't had the opportunity to watch it. Yeah, exactly, Marie. Bad optics. They ain't going to touch that. They ain't going to touch that. Hell no, they ain't going to touch that. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Now, if I were president, OMG. OMG, let me tell you. I'd be investigating every single judge Mitch McConnell appointed, including the 3 Supreme Court justices. Oh, and the one that retired. And then I would be investigating his wife, and I would dare that slimy necklace SOB to keep blocking shit in the Senate. So after all those negotiations, those bipartisan negotiations, guess what happened today? The Republicans still blocked the bill that was trying to get through. I think it was for what was the bill that they were trying to pass through something. But they, after all the negotiating, they still freaking filibustered it and blocked it. So and I'm just wondering, also, for the record, guess who was one of the people that vetted or put in Pompeo? That would be Tom Barrack. Nobody's going to touch that fat ass either. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, it was the infrastructure bill, Marie. After all that hemming and hawing and bipartisan this and bipartisan that, nope. Still blocked it. Stop playing with these. Stop playing with these people. They've already told you from the get-go what they were going to do. And then the whole fiasco with Kevin McCarthy today, I could not stomach it. Nancy Pelosi rejected 2 of the people that Kevin McCarthy were trying to put into the board, Jim Jordan and another guy. And so Jim Jordan went and had a hissy fit in front of the news at a news conference trying to spin it. Like, I mean, you talk about trying to fit square peg into a round hole. It was something to watch because it was disgusting. And so afterwards, they interviewed Liz Cheney on the steps of the Capitol, and she very eloquently ripped him a new one. Very eloquently ripped him a new one. So if you didn't watch that, I would recommend watching Liz Cheney's statements on what the stunt that Kevin McCarthy pulled today. But not to confuse it, Liz Cheney is another extremist that, you know, I wouldn't want her as president or anywhere near leadership. I can just respect her for standing up for and doing the right thing. But other than that, that's where our agreements are done. Because she's not an ally. She's only an ally in this situation. Other than that, no. So, so let's start here. Let's start here. Hold on. Hey, you guys, if I can get some thumbs up, that would be great. Because it looks like there's 446 and 252 in the 253 thumbs up. That would be. Me too, Diana. Isn't it lovely? Okay, let's see here. Let's start with, will Tom Barrack implicate Alan Weisselberg? 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 Okay, let's see here. Yes. There's something that was done. I also do believe that they have them on obstruction. Well, there's obstruction right there, a delay, an obstacle, obstruction, a persistent obstruction. Okay. But yeah, there's some luck and there's a win there. There's a good chance that he implicates Weisselberg. So, okay, so let's see. So let's see, how does Tom Barrack implicate Alan Weisselberg? How does Tom Barrack implicate Alan Weisselberg? Oh. Oh. Some sort of consulting with a woman and a man. And that's how they were able to improve their fortunes, their luck. But it comes through some sort of consulting with these two. Now, because these two are so close together, that tells me that these are a married pair. Oh, thank you, Diana. Thank you so much. So just by that rule, these two look to be a pair, a married couple. And some sort of consulting here. Consulting, so I'm not sure if consulting is the same as lobbying, but it looks like these two were involved in some sort of lobbying thing and that they got some sort of a raise out of it. So, okay. I asked, yep. Okay. I asked if Jared Kushner was nervous about Barrick being arrested. Yes, because there was some sort of a delay or a problem with resources, and he was looking for avenues for resources and finances, several routes here. But here, it's saying it went to the organization or some sort of campaign. You got Garden, Heart, and Key. So this would be like an organization, campaign funds, inaugural committee, something like that, where there is a large body of people that gather and congregate. Very generous and access. So through this, I would say yes. Several routes of income, resources, multiple areas of resources. Two, because this is double. Two sources of income where he did not have access to before. It was delayed and blocked here, but then it opens up here. Do you see what I'm saying? So it could be two places where he got funds from, resources and funding from. And then here it says there's some sort of organization that was very generous. Okay. Okay, let's move on to Kevin McCarthy. Now, we'll touch on that very briefly. Is Kevin McCarthy, let's see her. No, how do I word this? I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I want to know if Kevin McCarthy, does Kevin McCarthy regrets his decision against an independent commission? How about that? Does Kevin McCarthy regret his decision against a January 6th commission? There's your regret. Yeah. There's your regret. There's the isolation here and his ambitions. It makes it quite difficult on his ambitions here. It could have been a little bit more peaceful had he gone that route. He regrets not going the peaceful route for the institution itself, for the government itself. Here he was trying to burden government. Here it's saying that the government is wise and serene, and this would have been the better decision. So yes, he is regretting it. Let me see here. Well, is Kevin McCarthy worried about being subpoenaed? Is Kevin McCarthy worried of being subpoenaed? Yeah, he's worried. There's your invitation. There's the problems. He'll continue to gaslight. But what's at the end of it? The resources and the funding. The money. Who powered this thing? Okay. Will Kevin McCarthy be subpoenaed to the January 6th commission? Will Kevin McCarthy be subpoenaed? there's not going to be any changes and improvements in the house. Here's talking about changes and improvements within the house, or the very small network, the tiny, tiny little entourage, that comes to an end and gets closed. This thing is going to drag out. This is long, prolonged delays here. He's going to try to shut it down one way, shape, or form, because it ends here with coffin. Okay. And then here you have small persistent problems, small persistent delays and obstruction. Obstruct. These, interestingly, are all time cards. This can be 1 year minimum. This is up to a year, and this is a long time around the winter. So this is not something that is going to wrap up. Try as they may to shut it down. It just takes a while. Okay. It's not quick moving. Let's see here. Will they arrest those that refuse subpoenas? No, but they may be referred to the Justice Department that oversees the community, the court that oversees the community. So perhaps DOJ. To answer your question, Marie. And it could also be, yes, for obstruction of justice. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it was mountain, tower, garden, obstruction, delays. Okay. And tower right there in the middle would be the institution. So like your government and the courts and the law, anything that's bureaucratic. And then the garden, which could be the committee, a large body of people, somewhere where there's an audience or a large gathering of people. So I hope that answers your question, Marie. Let's see here. Will Donald Trump be subpoenaed to the January 6th commission? Will Donald Trump be subpoenaed to the January 6th commission? I'd love to see that son of a bitch in there with his orange ass. I don't recall. Yeah. Because you know that's what he'd say. Will Donald Trump be subpoenaed to the January 6th commission? Got Fox, House, and Lilies. Yes, but don't hold your breath. There's something here where he's trying to be sly and sneaky and manipulative. Perhaps manipulating people that in the house. So we could be looking at a Kevin McCarthy type person, because this is the King of Hearts. And then here, King of Spades. This would be a person that has seniority or a position of seniority, experience. Okay. And it's also a very long time. Okay. So, oh, you know what else came out today? Since Rand Paul tried to bullshit Dr. Fauci, and Dr. Fauci called him a liar, and he wanted it put on the record that Rand Paul doesn't know what he's talking about. Rand Paul got his little feelings so hurt that now he's referring Dr. Fauci to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. Oh. You can't make this up, you guys. You can't make this up. Okay, so what other questions before we move along to the Kushner Grand Tableau? Any other questions before I move on to the Kushner Grand Tableau? The orange clown, Diana, that's funny. Bismo, girlfriend, me too. I told that to my husband yesterday, and he's like, "Are you serious?" Like, yeah, Peanut didn't know that Rand Paul's neighbor had beat his ass a few years ago. Like I said earlier, I'm not for violence, but man, that dumb son of a bee had it coming. And then there's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene got kicked off of Twitter for 12 hours for spreading misinformation about the COVID vaccines. Unfortunately, it was only 12 hours. You know, they should duct tape her ass as well. Oh, by the way, you guys, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Water Bendita. She's another YouTuber. She just did a collaboration yesterday or a couple of days ago with Ona's Tarot. And very, very interesting. It was one of her taza. Taza means cups. One of her cup readings on the Bobert lady. So if you would like, go over there and check that out, because that was really, really cool. So, oh yeah, and then there was Marjorie Taylor Gonorrhea or whatever, gangrene, Marjorie Trader Gangrene, like J-Lo's calling her. She just did a press conference the other day where she refused to disclose if she's been vaccinated because that's against her HIPAA rights, you know. But yet she's pushing anti-vaccine rhetoric and claiming that she won't disclose because it's against her HIPAA rights, which I would take that to mean, yeah, bitch, you got vaccinated. So, okay, how will Liz Cheney do in the committee? How will Liz Cheney do in the committee? How will Liz Cheney do in the January 6th committee? There she is. Hi, Liz Cheney. Ooh. She's going after financial records. That's what she wants to know. She wants to know who funded this thing for people to travel for his supporters. There's Liz Cheney, woman. The results or the records of what finances travel for loyalist. Another way to interpret this, Liz Cheney as woman. The results, power that is transferred to someone that is loyal. So this would be Biden. Okay. She will be a very powerful performer here. Woman, bear, and dog. Very powerful, very, very loyal. But she's interested in the finances. And any records of travel right here. The results of travel, who traveled, who funded travel. If there was any, when I say, because of these two funding travel, I'm talking buses, I'm talking airplane tickets, I'm talking any mode of transportation here with ship, and who funded it, and the records for that. If that makes any sense at all. Which brings me to question. I just thought of this because this is the records, finances, travel, records, financial transfers here, and how finances were transferred to loyalist here as well. So not just money for travel, but money that was transferred to people that were loyal. Okay, so this could be, when I say loyal, this could be people, perhaps the carnival barkers and bootlickers in the house, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, Kevin McCarthy, the pedophile, what's his name, Matt Gaetz, because money was transferred to loyalists this way. But also, didn't one of the Supreme Court justices' wife fund a bunch of buses for the insurrectionists? Can somebody please correct me if I'm recalling that incorrectly? Anybody remember that, or was just that speculation on the internet? It was Thomas's wife. Thomas's wife that funded. Well, here you go. The records or the results. Finances, travel. Financing travel for supporters. Will Liz Cheney go as far as to be in favor of quite possibly impeaching a Supreme Court justice because their wife took part in funding an insurrection? That's another question. Yeah, Clarence Thomas's wife did. Yep. I wouldn't even know how to ask that question. Let me see. Okay, so let's start here. Will Clarence Thomas, oh God, how do I ask that? How do I ask that? Will Clarence Thomas, get in trouble for his wife's participation in the insurrection? Will Clarence Thomas get in trouble for his wife's participation in the insurrection? Will Clarence Thomas get in trouble for his wife's participation in the insurrection? Let me tell you something right now. Hold on, let me pull some cards. No, but it's going to cause a bunch of shit. It's going to cause a lot of shit. It's going to cause a lot of fighting, arguing, disputes, disruption. His reputation and his wisdom is going to come under some serious criticism. Perhaps questioning his better judgment to serve on the courts, because this here is your reputation, your honors. This here is in regards to being a person of wise counsel, very serene, very calm, very tranquil, very satisfied, but then there's criticism and a backlash there. So it's almost like it damages his long-standing reputation, even though he's a piece of crap too. Here's a question I have though. Off topic. That reading said that she's going after finances. Who funded this thing for people to travel? Where did the money come from? She wants to know about the money. Let's say that they have subpoena power and they subpoena the shit out of everybody and they start looking and, oh, look, what do you see? The Federalist Society, or let's say another huge, extreme, right-wing, radicalized portion of the Republican Party that basically funds the Republican Party itself. What if they show up in that paperwork? What are the Republicans going to do? Are they going to turn a blind eye because, well, we can't do anything to these people because they basically keep us employed by funding us for campaigns and super PACs and dark money, which the Supreme Court came out and said, yeah, go ahead, dark money all you want, So that would be interesting to watch if when they start to uncover who funded this, and it leads back to their mega donors, who's going to prosecute and who's going to just kind of try to shove that under the rug? We stop there. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? There's no way that this could have been crowdfunded on the internet. So I'm just wondering, y'all. Just wondering. You guys, can you please give me 1 second? I'm going to go downstairs, refill my coffee cup, get up, stretch my wonky arm that's all pinny and needly, and then we'll jump into the Jared Kushner Grand Tableau, if you guys are okay with that. So just please give me a couple of minutes, and I will be right back. Thank you. Okay, you guys, sorry I'm back. Went and checked on Bubs and the peanut. Walked around and stretched a little bit. I hope everybody's okay. Hey, lucky girl, how are you? Okie dokie. So, let's take a look here. Alrighty. I'm going to do it on these first, log it in my notebook, and then I'll put the tiles down because they're much easier to see with the space that I have. Okay, so just please give me a minute. Okay. All right, just 1 second, please, while I jot this down. 24, 25, 28, 16, 22, 5, 8, 1, 34, 3, 19, 4, 32, 33, 17, 14, 10, 29, 21, 18, 9, 12, 30, and 20, 6, 15, 35, 27, 7, 2, 31, 23, 13, 36, 11, 26. Okay, let me move this. And I'm going to transfer it to the tiles so that I can get it into frame. So hold one, please. How's everybody doing? I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time. No, I was goofing off and just chit-chatting for quite a bit. So my apologies for that. Okay. Oh, boy. All right. Okay, let's see here. Nope, I should put it this way. 22, 5. Four, 3, 19, 32, 33, 17, 14, 10, 29, 9, 30, 20, and 6, 15, 35, 27, 7, 2, 23. Let me see if I can fit this. 2 here. Okay, no, let's go this way. we have 13. You're not going to be able to see the line of fate, but that's okay. I'll touch base on that once we get to that portion. So I think I'm in frame, right? Can you guys see that okay? Is it visible on your end? Is anyone having any problems seeing this? Okay, Pierre is saying yes. J-Lo's giving me the thumbs up. Jay is saying yes. Okay, good. Okay. So I'm attempting to go out 1 year on Jared Kushner. He lands here. Oh, if I may, up a tad more, Sunflower. It's going to cut off the line of fate, I believe. I don't believe I have the space here. Maybe I can fit it in just a tiny bit down there. Now you can sort of see the line of fate. Okay, for those of you that are new, this is a grand tableau. This spread is traditional and reserved for the Lenormand, which is the cards that I use, as well as the Kipper. The rules of the grand tableau are based on the French system, even though the Lenormand is itself a German system. It was mostly adopted and mostly used in France, and the name was attributed to the famous psychic card reader of her time, Mademoiselle Marianne Adelaide Lenormand. This was not her deck. She did not use this. The name was just attributed to her as a marketing scheme. Traditionally, with the Grand Tableau based on the French system, it uses the rule of near and far, and not much directionality. However, you can also use it in the German fashion because it is technically a German system. It was developed in Germany. I can't pronounce the guy's name, so I'm not even going to try. But it was originally the Game of Hope. It was a board game, and then it also came with instructions for how to play the Game of Hope with the Grand Tableau, and it works off of the principle of near and far. For the German portion of it, if you go the German tradition, it will use directionality, meaning whichever way the man faces. If in this deck he were to face left, you would read from him that way. Him going from right to left, because that would be in the direction that he's facing. If the woman faces to the right, she would be read from where she's at and then this way. Okay, but that depends on the cards that you are using, if you choose to use directionality. I don't very much use directionality. It's not very common that I do. Sometimes I do. I usually just don't. Besides the rule of near and far, which is primary for the Grand Tableau, we also incorporate houses. So if you hear me say houses, the houses refer to the positions in which the cards land. So if I were to take this entire card system and have it in numerical order from 1 through 36, those would be the positions that these cards land on. The houses are fixed. Okay, so house 1 is house Rider. House 2 would be Clover, because that's card number 2 in the deck. Position 3 would be the house of Ship, because Ship is number 3 in the deck, and so on and so forth in numerical value. The houses are fixed. They do not move. What changes is what lands inside of it. The reason for that being is that the houses that it sits on influences the card that sits on that house, as well as it allows you to follow the chain of houses, meaning You look for where this man is. You find his position. He is in position 3. You look for card number 3, which is ship. You go over here. You look at to see where this is positioned. This is positioned in house 10, which is scythe. You go to scythe and all the way around, chaining everything until you get back to the original point. The Kipper system can use houses, but I've never seen it done to where they follow the chain, because the Kipper system is primarily directional. And also in the Kipper system, there is no knighting when doing a grand tableau, because the cards themselves have movement. They have qualities. So you have connector cards in the Kipper system. You have movement cards in the Kipper system. You have cause and effect cards in the Kipper system. So when you see me knighting here, please note that that is traditional to the French system for the Lenormand, and not necessarily used within the Kipper, because the Kipper is a totally different system. It doesn't use the same rules. Knighting refers to where this, whatever card you choose, say we want to look at bouquet, it would be the same as moving through the way that a knight would move on a chessboard. So it's 2 to the left or 2 to the right, and then 1 up or 1 down. And then you take those 2 and read those cards together in conjunction with the houses that it lands on. So I hope that that is explanatory enough. It's a mammoth of a spread. There's a lot of information to go through here. When I do these in personal readings, they are not as complicated, usually because I have a client that I can ask questions to, or who is asking me questions, so I can pinpoint exactly where we are in the tableau. Whereas here, I can look at the big picture, but also try to get into a little bit more detail, which can be quite extensive. Also, another thing to note about the Lennies is the language in which they speak. They speak symbolically, they speak metaphorically, and they speak literally. So, for instance, when we look at, say, dog, well, this could quite literally be a dog or a pet. When we look at mountain, not only is this obstacles and blockages and problems and enemies, but it can also quite literally be a mountain. Okay, same thing with bouquet. It can actually be a thing, or symbolic or metaphorical of a thing, such as moon. Moon can be the literal moon we see in the night sky, but it can also represent as an object, a thing, something like a magnet or a pillow. Okay, so we can look at it in different contexts to get some more finer details if we choose. So I hope that was explanatory enough. So let's start. Okay, so I'm trying to look a year ahead. Kushner is landing up here. Now, he lands in a very good position, and I say this because he's at the very top of the tableau. When you're looking at, for your significators in the tableau, if it's a man, you look for man. If it's a woman, you look for woman. The further up they are on the tableau, very, very good. The further down they're on the tableau, no bueno. Why? Because now this whole entire weight of the tableau will fall upon their shoulders, meaning they have a lot of stuff on their mind. But based on his position, he's really, really good. He's landing all the way at the top. Not much on his mind, pretty much in control of everything. He lands close to the very start of the tableau. I'm going to read this here as his present, read this here as what's to come, back here as what's in his past. Okay? Oh, hi, Rondell. How are you? I just started, so you didn't miss a lot. If I were using directionality and a deck that supported directionality, if this man was looking that way, then I would read that way. But I'm not using directionality. Okay. he lands very, very close to the beginning, which is a good position. If he had landed closer to the end over here, that's not a good position, because it would mean he's got a lot of baggage moving forward and a lot to resolve before he can move on. Okay, so just based on his position on where he lands at the top of the tableau towards the beginning, very good position. This is telling me right here that he's feeling pretty much in control of everything that's going on around him. However, there's serious problems in his relationship. Man is sitting on house, ship. Okay. This could just mean something as simple as perhaps taking some sort of romantic vacation with his wife. Ring lands behind him, meaning he's already married. Okay. If ring landed before him, it's a man that's looking for a commitment, but it lands behind him. I follow ring down. There's his wife. Okay. However, the reason I say that there's marital problems between him and her, I would read these two this way. Distance. And then here with these two mirrors, problems in the marriage. Okay. There may have been a trip that perhaps was planned that they already took, but if there's another one upcoming, there may be some sort of, well, there may have been a most recent cancellation because ship sits in house Scythe. Okay. Now moving this way, there's something around his marriage, news about his marriage, and problems with the government that are going in the courts, also in the government. Legal disputes. Tower sits in house whip. Legal disputes. Okay. Mountain sits in house tower. Legal disputes, mounting problems with the courts, as well as persistent, prolonged obstructions this way. He may try to distance himself from that, but it's like he can't. It falls right on his line. And then the ship is back here. It sits behind tower. So where he's at right now, perhaps trying to distance himself from the legal problems that are going on, the legal disputes that are brought about because of obstruction and problems that were caused or that he was overseeing while he was in government that created obstructions and problems. Where does it come from? Foreign business with the government. We have fish sits in house. Bouquet. You have ship, which sits in house Scythe, and tower right below him. And then you have house right here. There may be something going on where he had access to, or he may be coming into legal problems because of some sort of consulting business where there was gifts of money that were given that came from abroad from an institution that is going to cause him problems. This way, it's not looking good either. There's something here that is in regards to him, to Kushner, that he was doing, that he was perhaps contracted to do for an issue that was health related that spread everywhere. And that spreading was something that was airborne and perhaps could have affected the lungs. You have tree, which is about your health, which sits on house clouds. That if I read this as something that is health related, clouds has to deal with the lungs, anything that's airborne and gaseous. So, and then here it's saying that it spread all over the place. With stars, it metastasizes. Okay. expands, metastasizes, and the choices that he made, choices that were health related. You have crossroads, sits on tree. So the choices that he made in regards to something that was health related while he was in the administration or close to the entourage, stars sits on house. Okay. So he was close to the entourage. The decisions that he made in regards to health related issues that caused death here. Okay. And that's the news of deaths. All right. Let's see here. In regards to, if I read this quite literally as the house, the literal house, because you have tower right next to it, a government institution that is house. Okay. If I read that quite literally this way, they're going to start looking at money that was transferred or consulting or some sort of a business venture that was transferred while he was in office that he'll get recognized for, that he may have been doing some creative stuff, just to put it lightly. And whatever investigations are going on around that, that increases. They add to the investigations. And it's looking like it was him and perhaps someone else that is family that is younger. So perhaps Junior. Now, also, you have house sits on birds. Okay. Wait, did I miss something from Jenny? Okay, house sits on birds. Birds is over here. Okay. And then child is over here. There is something also that down this line, it looks like it's going to cause him a huge issue. Down this way as time moves forward, looks like it increases and adds to, but it has to do with the meeting that took place around the very, 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 very small enclosed entourage, either at a tower or with a person here, a friend of the family's, because he's got house over him, a friend of the family's, a meeting. And what was negotiated there was the elections and how to grow their chances of winning this way. This person has already received notice of guilt this way. So this could be the Barack person. This person is currently a celebrity. He's close friends to the family. You have stars sits on house. House is right underneath it. House sits on birds. That communicated or was negotiating with the family and the entourage in regards to the election and improving their chances of winning. This person here also was linked to the campaign or the inauguration or somewhere where there is a great deal of people where you can gather an audience, okay, a congregation of some sort. But this person has already received notice of guilt this way. Does that make any sense, you guys? So I'm thinking this may be that Tom Barrack, whatever the hell his name is, right here. Let me see. Oh, crap. Did I chat freeze? Does that make any sense at all? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. As I think my chat in the live froze up, so I had to pull it up on another. Okay, so I think this is Barrack. Now, the reason I don't say what's his face, Weaselberg, it's because he doesn't have any money cards close to him. Okay. At all. This person was just happy to take meetings to steal something here. Okay. And then if I box this person in, wait a minute. Okay, this person, if I box them in, someone here that was ambitious about real estate as part of their career. Ambition, real estate, career. Tower sits on whip, legal problems. House sits on house, birds, negotiating real estate. And then moon sits on child, new career or new some sort of new creativity. Okay, small honors. This person is being pressured or is in a lot of trouble because of obstructing the government or obstructing justice. Tower, mountain sits on tower. This person here was part of the network and the organizations and the congregations, the places where there's a large audience of people. So I'm thinking this is Barrack. And then he's got, what is this? Bouquet sits on mountain. So he found creative ways to get around the problem, but he also lied. This person lied here. See? And then he lied about the results persistently, and he lied, and she lied. By she, I mean Ivanka. Ivanka lied as well. She's in danger and in big, big trouble. Ivanka herself. There is some serious issues around something that she was doing in regards to businesses or shopping, how money was being spent, commerce. That gets cut off and causes huge problems here. Chaos. And then there's uncertainty and a lot of trouble about her standing with her finances that have been long-term, but the records are already there. Her financial records are already there. The finances here, they've achieved the results here, and then they lied, or she lied, because what is this? Snake sits on housewoman for a chance at success. Oh, this is wrong. Hold on. This goes here, and this goes here. So sorry about that. Okay. This person here also negotiated with a conservative party. If this is Barrack. Okay. There's problems here in regards to his partnerships as well as his marriage. You have clouds sits on ring. Ring is behind him. However, it looks like it may have been in the past, because it looks like here, like he's hopeful and he's going to find different directions and opportunities, but he's going to hit a wall here when he gets to this portion. And there's news of something being closed and something coming to an end, because you have Rider sits on coffin, and coffin is right before. So there's going to be news of an ending, as well as the news of all of the reported deaths because of the misinformation. Okay. Now let's see what else. Hold on. There's something here quite possibly with him and a sibling. You have house that sits on birds. Birds is way over here that sits on crossroads, but when you follow it up, it's in the same line as tree. Him and his brother negotiating or doing something in regards to these two here would be something like townhouses, hotels, a building that's very tall with many residences inside. So there's something here in regards to him and his brother and legal disputes that are still ongoing this way. But that's what I get when I corner these, if that can make any sense at all. Okay. If I'm looking for Weaselberg, that's where is Weaselberg? Now, down this line, the news of what gets dissolved or taken away is this. Trump org, Trump whatever the hell. It's a big broad umbrella with a lot of things underneath it. If that's the best way I can explain Garden to you, because there's news that the investigation into the organization, what happens, it gets dissolved here, it gets taken away. And there's also news of something closing. So he's already anticipating the news of the Trump organization itself coming to a close and being made smaller. Okay. So we got him and his brother in some sort of legal dispute, but it shows up down the line here too. Okay. And also him and a sibling that had a meeting to negotiate the elections here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and growing their chances of winning this way. This person comes through family. So not only his immediate biological brother, but also perhaps a brother through marriage. Because house sits on birds, and birds is down here. Birds sits on crossroads. Even though these are distant. But if I follow the chain, it goes in there. Let me see here. What else can I find? All right. Where would Weasel be? This person is closest to him. And I already said I think that this may be Barrick. Okay. If Weaselberg is here, he's either this person or this person. Probably this person, King of Diamonds, that falls under King of Diamonds sits on house Bouquet. Okay. So this is probably the Weasel person over here. But it sits behind him. He doesn't appear to be too concerned about that. What appears to be more of a concern is this person, because this person was in business and had meetings with the entourage, as well as set up meetings here. It could be quite literally at a tower, at a hotel, at a building that with many floors and many residences, townhomes. But this person set up meetings, and there was lots of bribery here. And he was negotiating also for a conservative party. These two, Knight, Lilies, 2 down, 1 over, or Tree, 2 down and 1 over. That right there is Saudi Arabia. Lineage, that is royal. Right here. Going down this line, there's something here about an intermediary and access. Man. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Because here it says there's news of a death besides news of something that closes and ends, news of a death with coffin. Fox sits right under. Here's MBS with these two. And something that he was doing with NBS that was very, 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 very important that was being negotiated for the elections. Birds sits on crossroad. Okay. Crossroad sits on tree. Okay. Tree is double. And this is double here. Now, writer is news. Fox is investigation. This could be saying another way to interpret this final line besides news of the investigation into the Trump organization results in the dissolvement. This is also news of a death, quite possibly of a person that was, this is also work, okay? So someone that worked as an investigative reporter, and coffin sits over their head. Writer sits over their head in house coffin. The last time I did this, I think it was September, God, was it 2019? That death showed up right around here, and it was all right here. It was Fox, in-house, scythe. And then there was like coffin, and then what else was there? Coffin. Stars was here in this little bundle, right? Like in this box over here. I'm trying to remember. And then when I looked around, scythe landed in house, Fox. So literally, scythe. What does a scythe do? Scythe cuts. It's something that you use to harvest. So metaphorically, this would be a knife. It would be scissors. It would be any sharp instruments, gardening tools, anything that's sharp that you would use to cut something. Well, it landed in house Fox. Well, it was literally this person being cut. Do you see what I'm saying? Which I know is very disturbing. And then he had letter over him. So an investigative reporter that was cut and died. And there was something there on this portion of that old grand tableau about those guilty conversations being in, I kept saying in that reading, a skiff, a skiff, a skiff, a skiff. No, not a skiff. It ended up being a server, a black box that holds technology that is highly classified because, what was it? Book was in this little spread too. And then it was weird because over here, it was tree that landed here, storks here, man here. No. Lilies landed here, storks here, and then man here. And it was showing that he was, at that time in 2019, that he was the intermediary to Jamal Khashoggi, or to MBS, and the whole Jamal Khashoggi stuff showed up back here. So he negotiated that. Birds, nights here. He was involved with the meeting along with this guy. And by this guy, I mean quite possibly if this is presenting as the barrack guy. Okay. He was in negotiations, MBS here, and then there's double of these. Double of these. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who is double this? Okay, let me see here. If I read this way as a line of influence, since we already identified MBS, this is saying double and it's also saying multiples. Stars, knights to key, stars, knights to bouquet, stars, knight to mountain, stars, knight to ship. Okay. This may be, one of them may be who has borders, very tight borders, who's in the middle of disputing something, but it's violent, like a war. Quite possibly recognized with a star. It's a very small area where this place is located on a map. It's got a star this way. They have something going on with the border here to block something, block another government or block another institution, but they're abusing it. They're abusing it over and over and over and over again, but they have a star here. Another one here has a moon, but it's not China because this, yeah, it knights here, but this one is different. This one is around here on a map. God, I hope that makes sense. This right here, tree, is also, besides health, it is spirituality. Okay? This one here, because I hope I'm explaining this so you guys can understand. Crossroads means multiples or a double. Well, it sits between these two. Okay, let me see if I can see that. It sits between stars and tree. Okay? If this is double or multiples, well, we've already identified MBS here. One is recognized here with moon. The moon is your recognition, how you see. One of them, if we're talking about doubles or multiples, one of them solely has a star. That is how they are identified in their nation, okay? Because it sits on house, and you got house right underneath them. They are a friend to our country here. This way, it shows a star and a moon as a form of identification, how they are recognized as a country. Does that make sense? China would be more like this, but it's not close. It knights, but it's not super, super, super close. And it looks like this one, the one with the star, is very small. It sits on house. Okay? House is your closest entourage. And it right here, you got tree, which I also said is, I've already said is your spirituality. Well, the spirituality of this is an Abrahamic faith. Okay? Abrahamic faith. This right here is a Muslim faith. This way. Abrahamic Muslim. Does that make sense? But they were also in negotiations about the election, even with these people. That comes up this way, ahead of him, even though he's no longer in office. But it shows up from this guy, from this Barrack guy. Okay? So there's one with the star, and there's all, because Crossroads is here, there's another one with a star and a moon. Why do I say that? Because it touches this most immediately. Does that make sense? So there's two of them, one with the star, one with the moon and a star. Am I making any sense? And this person here, Kushner, okay? He's got crossroads, which sits on tree. Tree, it's your health. It is your growth, but it is also your spirituality. So it's something that, besides perhaps a country, it's a spirituality within the family. Does that make sense? So I'm looking at Israel here, Turkey here, MBS here, but there's one more. There's one more. Where is it? And they were also in conversations in regards to energy. Right there. If you follow this direct line, they were negotiating energy. Cat funk, Russia would be here. Just because the old symbols for Russia was a bear and a scythe. Well, look at that. Turkey is this. MBS is here. UAE. UAE means United Arab, right? This is unity. So all you got to do, if you look at this line right here and follow it back. And their unions and contracts negotiating elections, but also negotiating energy this way. Okay? Through this person here. That's a friend of the family's. But she is no longer talking to this person. She's removed and separated herself. Ivanka. Ring sits on clover. A lucky partnership is a simple way to just wrap that up. Well, what's next to it? Energy. Who's in partnership? Well, here it says that it's foreign. Partnership lands behind him. Hey, Jay, how are you, my dear? Long time no see, my friend. Mi amigo boricua de Los Bronx. ¿Cómo está? The unions, the partnerships are abroad. It sits on house clover, but underneath it, it's got ship abroad. Man, 1, 2, 3, sits on house ship. His partnerships abroad with these nation states, negotiating, stealing elections, and winning elections, and campaigning, but also negotiating energy this way. Now, let me see. What does key mean? Key means that it's something important, that it's something of great significance. It's access. It's an answer. So here, if you read it down this column here, the simple answer to this is negotiating and growing their chances at a win. A gamble, a risk. He's got clouds to his back. So he's not really worried about that. However, he's got big problems here, and he's got huge problems in his line of fate. He's got problems over here. Traditionally, coffin. You want this behind you. You don't want it ahead of you. Okay? It shows up ahead. He's moving into this. Also, his hopes and dreams and his chances at success and perhaps growing something comes to an end. Dead end. Done. Kaput. Losses. Caca. You're done. Okay? There is something here where he is also going to get in trouble because of his financial records and his entanglement, not only with these things that we discussed up here with the moon and the sun and the moon and the stars and the MBS through this guy. There's also something else here that implicates him because he's falsified records and he's been stealing as well. There is some sort of news or results. He's got bouquet right over. That's an invitation. So I would not be surprised if he may be called in or become subpoenaed down the road as a key witness here. And then there's a lie. The lie comes from her. Her, I mean Ivanka. But there's a subpoena coming this way. Let me see here. Hold on 1 second, please. Okie dokie. Let's see here. This way here, it's saying that there's going to be serious problems because his financial security and stability, that his finances that were reliable come into a lot of problems because of falsified records, and their hope of winning, of being successful, is diminished. It's diminishing every single day. Losing money. Here's fines. There's some sort of fine here. Serious fine. And also he's got cross, which sits on house fish. Fish is your business. So fines this way and serious difficulty with business. There's also in his line of fate serious problems. Child is far from him. It sits closer to woman. So this could be in regards to Ivanka's child or Ivanka's children, perhaps. But the children or if this is in regards to his family or the kids, there's serious suffering there, and also extreme okay, let me see. How do I word this? Their suffering remains private. I'll say it that way. One way to read this whole situation. Because you've got book, which sits on cross, which sits on fish, and whip, which sits on anchor. So it's prolonged battle, arguments, strife, but they keep it private. Here in the center of the GT, the heart of the Grand Tableau, paint a pretty picture for the public. We're happy. Behind closed doors, serious shit, and they're all crapping their pants. Heart, which sits on house writer. Writer sits on house coffin. Followed by mice, followed by clouds. That's not good. The rule of near and far. Cross sits far from him, prolonged suffering. And it's also surrounded by negative cards. If you look here to what comes after cross, you have whip and you have snake here. That's immediately touching. And then letter, which sits on house man. Okay, so it's almost like, besides this current problem here that he's in right now, because this is his present line, besides that, which looks like a serious prolonged battle with the government and also perhaps problems with obstruction, because you have mountains sitting on tower, obstructing justice or something like that. It's prolonged here with anchor. It's going to be a tough hill to climb. He'll achieve his results, but those results bring long-term suffering and pain. And the corners are saying something that he desires. It's almost like he is anticipating something to close, something to come to an end, and the shit hitting the fan, and people are going to be shitting their pants with these two. Actually, it should be read this way. Anxiety and nervousness, huge problem. Huge, huge problem. Mice sits far. Traditionally, the closer mice it is ahead of you, if something is lost or stolen, you will get it back. Your chances of getting it back are great. If in a Grand Tableau, you were to get the mice anywhere, you want it behind you. If it happens to be in front of you, you want it close by, because that means whatever you're worried about or has been lost or stolen, you're going to get it back. It sits far. He's not going to get something back. There's punishment, fines, and payments and losses here. He's not going to recuperate it. Again, with cross sits far from him. The closer cross is, the less you still suffer, but you suffer less. It's more immediate. This is far, and it sits on fish. It's far, and it's like it's got anchor right above it, prolonged. It's persistent. It doesn't add up. It doesn't let up. It's touching her most immediately down this line. And if you look at Ivanka, what is on her mind? She's worried about her businesses and the consulting that may have been done that was transferred to an institution that's going to cause her legal nightmares. You have fish, which sits on house bouquet, gifts of money, gifts that we're giving for consulting with fish. You have ship, which sits on scythe. Transfers that are soon to be cut off. they're getting ready to rupture. It could also be in regards to perhaps travel that may need to be canceled. Okay. And you have Tower, which sits on, what is this? Legal problems, disputing in court. Scythe, woman, mountain. Scythe cuts to the right. She's in danger. Also, it could be in regards to perhaps, if we're going to look at this metaphorically, besides danger, it would be perhaps vaccinations or injections for her. Okay. But she's going to hit a wall here with the government. Also in danger, Ivanka also quite possibly in danger for obstructing justice as well, because Scythe, danger. Okay. Woman sits on house, dog. Loyalty or a friend of a woman. And then here, obstructing with mountain, that sits on Tower, obstructing justice. She's in danger for obstructing justice. And also she may need to make a very quick and sudden rash decision to cut off her loyalty and rat somebody out in the organization here. Trump org, Trump inaugural, Trump whatever the hell. Okay? There. Because she ends, if I follow this line and dismiss this and not read this as what's his face, Barrack, if this is in regards to Ivanka and I read it this way, she cuts her loyalties on this line. And she, the friend that was in charge of perhaps the organization or finding a lot of friends in a community, okay, because dog sits on Tower or on garden. So a large group of friends or a community of friends or popularity and having a lot of friends. Well, guess what? She rats people out this way. Down here, she's got problems around her finances. Also, Bear sits below her. Bear is about finances, but also executives. Executives where? Well, look here. Bear sits in house, book. This executive was keeping secrets, and this executive had knowledge. Bear goes up here and then here. So her as an executive, follow it up the chain. The contracts that she got that were transferred, what was transferred? Money and business consulting. There's government and there's blocking it here as a way to block government from pay this way. This way down here, let me see. She knights to letter, she knights to house, she knights to man, she knights to heart. Okay. Ivanka's family and the meetings and negotiations that are going on with her family, as well as quite possibly negotiations, if we're going to get superficial here, negotiations perhaps around some improvements that are being made at her home this way to make it the house of her dreams. She's isolated. Not too many people around her. She sits on house dog, but then it's blocked here. Okay, those improvements for the home, if I follow it this, because this is improvements, significant dream home. Okay, this may be something, a home that sits by a bay or by water. If I read this literally, the improvements may come for something here. This way, this would be the backyard. This way, this would be something like a pool or a bathroom. Okay, however, there is a problem with that property. There is a problem with that property. If this, because house sits below him and she knights to it. This would be like purchasing the property this way. Purchasing a distant, isolated property this way to make it their dream house with improvements and renovations. But the purchase of that home and that property and the renovations come under suspicion. They're suspicious. There's something wrong with the purchase of this home that comes under question, or that property that comes under question. I think we've already discussed, because tower sits so close to house, if this is in regards to the literal House of Representatives, the Congress, the investigations increase and they add to. Okay. Here's the, we've already discussed this, the investigations into perhaps the inaugural or the campaign itself, or the rallies, how the money was spent at the rallies, because it gets diminished and taken away here. But her and Kushner's results about something that they were doing abroad, they hid stuff there too, and that's going to cause them problems for stealing. And their chances of getting an upper hand and winning, no. It's like their hopes to win, or hopes at being successful, or trying to stay positive, it just keeps diminishing as time flows this way, because mice is over here. Tower knights here, multiples. Let me see here. This way. This way here. There's something here that ends or gets closed, but there's some sort of a resurrection that comes out of it, like some sort of renewal, financial renewal, financial increase. Which appears promising, but it becomes a loss. Coffin sits on snake, the end of problems, the end of lies, the end of betrayals. But what comes below it is storks. So there's your renewal, kind of like your resurrection. Storks sits on bear, an improvement to finances. Then you have lilies, which sits on mice. This could be a worried older man, someone that may be not getting wise counsel, but it's losses over time. Losses over time, losses over time. So it's like almost like something ends here. It's resurrected with the hope of renewal, but it brings losses over time. However, I just noticed, because I didn't check to see if anything sat in its own house. Sun sits in its own house. Sun is triumph. It is success. It is optimism. It's one of the best cards you can get in the Lennies. However, if you look here, it's far from him. And then if you look here, what's behind it? Mice. So any hope of success, whether it looks promising at the beginning, is wasted away. Not quickly. It takes time. It nibbles away. Does that make sense? So even though it's like a boom and bust, boom and bust, boom and bust, you know what I'm saying? It's like a bust, and then he tries to scramble and find something new and perhaps resurrect something, but then it's like that doesn't like that gets dwindled away. It gets eaten away here. Because even though this sits in its own house, it shows success, overall success, but success is also far to reach just by the rules of near and far. The success is hard to reach. It's not within his grasp. Key is not within his grasp either. He doesn't touch it. He knights to moon. He knights to dog. There's his celebrity here. And then there's his fame there. His fame from perhaps working in the administration and being close to the family. Businessman here, man to fish, businessman. And then he knights here to her, him and Ivanka. Hold on, let me see what else is in here. Key in House Fox. Stork sits on bear. Fox sits on stars. A very important, significant investigation, evidence of an investigation into his financial improvement comes under question. And the investigation itself spreads. It metastasizes. It sits on house, stars. Stars is right here next to him. Stars sits on house. People within the entourage, those that were closest to him while he was at work. If I read Fox as work and employment. So while he was in government here. Does that make sense? So it's not just this guy, it's everyone that was part of the administration getting contracts and promises, gifts of money from foreign governments. And once those investigations start going, not only within the House committees, but also with government institutions, those investigations increase and expand. And it shines a light, and people within that were closest to the administration as part of the entourage become celebrities and star witnesses or persons of interest, if that makes any sense. How many are there? Shit. I don't even know how to tell you. Also, letter sits back on man. Okay. Letter sits back on man. He sits on house, ship, and tower is underneath him, next to house, which sits on birds. This right here, letter that sits on him, let me see. An anchor sits on letter. And if I follow it this, okay. There was an obstruction or a delay in results here. That was an investigation that was expanding. However, there was a blockage there. It could only go so far. Letter is anything that's documented. It is reports. It is mail. It is results. It's tests. Okay. By putting that together, this could also be another way to interpret this, could also be the Mueller report. Mueller report and the lies from that investigation. Because if I follow him this way, while he was in government, there was a big fight or some sort of conflict there, and the government itself, the people that enforce this right here would be police. Okay, this right here would be more like FBI, because Fox is very covert, undercover. Okay, and then over here, letter, knights to birds. This would be verbal testimony, voicemail, or anything that was said and then later documented. Well, if this is in regards to the Mueller report, that moves forward this way, and it causes serious anxiety. Serious anxiety because there was falsifications here and testimony that was made that was false. It was a lie. But that report shows up column ahead. I don't know when that moves forward. I think I've already touched on this already, but I'll say it again. He's anticipating news that's going to come. Shit's going to hit the fan. We discussed how this person here that I'm assuming is the Barrack guy, how he worked and lobbied all these countries that we discussed over here, and how they negotiated stuff to increase their chances of winning the elections, and also spying here. Fox is very covert, and House Stars is right next to him. So spying efforts and perhaps spying online. Okay. But there's also another thing that comes out of the Mueller report that may have him giving false testimony this way and lying. Him and a person that is significant to him, that is a brother, but that brother comes through marriage. Also with him and his brother, there's problems here in regards to real estate and property. Him and his real brother, and then the brother that comes through relation from marriage, if that makes any sense. Let me see here. This grand tableau on this line of fate, another way to see that is to interpret this, besides perhaps worried and concerned about the children and it's looking like this man is anticipating news. He's shitting his pants. They're painting a pretty picture here for the public this way with the heart of the tableau. But down here, it's almost like anticipating the news for the shit to hit the fan. Why? Because there's guilt and suffering that has yet to be revealed. it is concealed at this moment. It may be classified. It may be something that is an ongoing project. But it sits on house cross. So new guilt, and then there's guilt that is chronic or abusive. And then here, book sits on what do you call this, cross. So with the corners here, it's saying that he's anticipating the news of shit hitting the fan this way. Heart, in-house writer sits on coffin. Mice sits on moon, and then clouds sits on ring. He's anticipating news of the shit hitting the fan, something coming to a close. It's causing significant emotional distress with mice on moon. And it's causing serious problems in his marriage. Also serious problems in his contracts or his arrangements or whatever negotiations and deals he made as a business person while he was in office. This way. This sits on ring. Ring sits up here next to him. And what sits below him? Office. And then this way, it's saying that there's huge issues because they have concealed and hid financial documents and results of their finances that they lied about. They're false. Not only him, but mostly her. Snake sits on woman. And then that their hope for success starts running out. And then here, it's like they're just waiting with the corners here, that they're just anticipating the shit to hit the fan. Because there's new punishment here that has yet to be revealed. With cross sitting on what do you call this? Cross. They may be painting a pretty picture, going on vacations and taking pictures and all this other stuff, but in private, they're shitting their pants. Exactly, Marie. Put the fan on blast. Put the fan on blast. The whole Pegasus stuff, Lynn. Well, you have earlier, I was discussing the negotiations or the contracts that he was in business related abroad while he was in office. And we were able to identify 1, 2, 3, 4 countries right off the bat for his own real estate, since house sits here. So we found Israel, Turkey, MBS, UAE, and also negotiations around energy. Okay. For him as a business while he was in office and part of the entourage, and not just him, but several others. And then the friend that is a friend of the family that was also negotiating and lobbying with this country here with the star, a country with a star and a moon, one that has royal lineage and one that's part of a union. This way, when he was in contract and negotiating with all those people for the elections, bird sits on crossroads, it knights to crossroads and growing their chances of winning the election. But here with the fox sits on stars. Okay, stars sits back on house. So that could be something suspicious that is being done on the internet, if we read it metaphorically. I do not see hacking, however. I do not see hacking. I just see stuff that's being done covertly, because Scythe sits way over here. It does not talk to stars. It's not even on the diagonal. And you would need these close by, like this. And it's not close. It looks more like, but it comes up ahead of him. Okay. So, and I was saying earlier, I don't know if you just came in, when I discussed this line here, I was saying that his business is abroad, while he was in office as part of the entourage, those investigations themselves increase. They add to, and because Fox sits on House Stars, Stars is right next to him. Not only do they increase, but they expand. It's freaking, it spreads out. Also, something very suspicious about the purchase of the home that is currently undergoing renovations. There's something suspicious going on in regard to the home but the home they don't live in, because here house sits on birds, but then it's got what do you call this, ship close by, and it's got over here storks. So it's almost like they wanted to get away and go to this new place and perhaps remodel it and make it the home of their dreams, but end up, it looks like if this was closer this way, I would feel a little bit more confident saying a change or a move in residence. Okay. But it's separated by these two cards. So, and if storks were this way, I would feel a little bit more confident saying upgrades and improvements to the home. But there's something very suspicious going on with the purchase of that home. It looks like perhaps the money that they need to put into the place. It's almost like they put the brakes on repairs, because money is here, but then it gets cut off here. Do you see what I'm saying? And then fish down this way, it shows that it's being transferred to an institution. The property of their dreams here is a very important move that is suspicious if I were to just read it that way. So it's almost like they purchased that house, they don't live there, and then perhaps down the road they move. And when I read it this way, which, it's not technically how you're supposed to do it, but I just went that way don't do that. That's wrong. But when I went this way, it was almost like they wanted to change and upgrade the home to make it the house of their dreams. And there's some serious repairs, but it's almost like they're putting the brakes on spending the money. And there's something here in the backyard with garden here. There's something in the backyard that's decaying. It's abandoned. It's not looking good. This would be a pool in the house. This would be somewhere by a bay or somewhere. And this right here is an island. So it's a home around an island that needs serious repairs, mostly in the backyard. There may be a pool, but it's a lot of decay in that home. And it's like the repairs have been put on hold because they're anticipating the shit to hit the fan, if that makes any sense. Also anticipating the closure of the Trump org. Serious fines this way. Ivanka Trump crap in her pants because she lied. Mostly all about her consulting to secure her funds and lying on records, falsifying records. I don't care how cute they may try to look for the magazines. These two have serious problems, and they're shitting their pants. So there's something also going on where something may be coming under question about Ivanka's involvement with some sort of a community that has to do with a spa, somewhere where you go to relax. This could be an area that has a very large park, but it's almost like a spa type place. She gets involved in that too, and there's trouble there. No, Epstein Islands is not here. So just don't. No. me see something real quick. Hold on. I'm following his chain around. Okay, his chain around the tableau is man to ship, to scythe, to storks, to bear, to book, to cross, to fish, and then bouquet, mountain, tower, whip, anchor, and letter. So let me see. Hold on. Hold one, please. Let's see. Okay, man to ship to scythe. It could be saying one way to interpret this is there's a trip that may need to be canceled. His financial improvements are being kept under wraps for guilt. Why? Because there was bribery and obstruction, which caused legal problems, and those were going to be the long-term results for him coming up soon. So there's some sort of something abroad that he cancels because he sits in house ship and ship sits in house scythe. Also, let me see, how else can I interpret this? How else can I interpret this? Okay. When I'm looking at this real quick, you guys. One moment, please. Okay. All right, let me see. I think I already said that he cancels a trip and his financial improvements are kept guilty because he knows his financial improvements, his financial increases are kept secret because he knows he's guilty of bribes and obstruction, legal problems, serious legal issues that are ongoing for him. Like, it just doesn't end. Okay. It's like they don't want to spend any money right now. They don't want to spend any money. Because this is shopping in abundance and business here with fish. This is more like your finances and your resources here. Okay. For him, this is far away and it's closest to Ivanka. I am sure that he has money stashed overseas, but it looks like it's hers or it's under her name, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. But it's almost like it's not even showing me that, because this would need to be closer to here to say assets are frozen. This is saying that their business can take a hit, but it's not directly touching. It only talks through knighting. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but it's almost like they put the brakes on spending. They put the brakes on spending because they know that they're going to be stuck in court for a very, 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 very long time. And they're anticipating the bad news and stuff that has yet to be revealed. Guilt that has yet to be revealed. Not just for him, but for her as well, because she has falsified documents here. For him, let me see her. For him, it's like his biggest concern is the trips that he made abroad and how he increased his resources, his finances, and kept him quiet because he's guilty of bribery with fish to clover. How he's guilty of bribery and how he also obstructed the government. I don't see Khashoggi around his line at all. Let me look at Ivanka's in deep shit too. Woman to dog to garden, heart, rider, coffin, snake, woman. Her involvement with friends and loyalists and a big group of people around a big, huge party, and how they lied and shit's about to get shut down. She's shitting her pants about lying. Not just through verbal testimony here with these two and birds, nights over here to letter. So voicemails, documents, just mail in general. Emails, voicemails, paper trails, text messages, whatever. She lied. Okay, let's see who dog is. Let's see. Huh. Dog here. Dog Knights to crossroads. He's got he's got house over his head, which is King of Hearts. This person, if I follow along this line, so this is more than one person. Finances here with dog and bear. Then he knights over there. Okay. And she's blocked from this person. Cold shoulder towards this person here. Okay. Because she sits on house dog. Dog is here, but what's between them is mountain, which sits on tower. This is a person she's giving a cold shoulder to, also a person who she will soon be given a cold shoulder to. Because he knights up here to crossroads, meaning multiples or doubles, I think we discussed this person here as, what do you call this? What's his face? What's his face? Barrack. Okay. But it's also Weasel. This is someone who manages money this way. Abroad this way. Significant and very important this way with dog and key. And then dog, which sits on house garden, and clover, which sits on house garden, or I'm sorry, store, lilies. Okay. Also the weasel, cold shoulder, doesn't know him. This person is the one that takes the bribery, cleans it, makes it pure to go to the organization. Her chain of houses goes woman to dog to garden. See that? A woman, friendly or loyal organization. There's something that she's passionate about or she desires here. And news that is closing or shutting down, and her lying, because snake sits back on woman. For this person, it goes dog to garden, to heart, to writer, to coffin, to snake, to woman. In the context of what's his face? The guy that just got in trouble with the law. Barrack. Well, he's still linked to the organization. He's part of the party where there's a large congregation of people negotiating gifts here. Okay, so, and then if we follow it up with multiple places here, well, there's MBS, we talked Israel, we talked Turkey, United Arab Immigrants meetings that took place at a tower, meetings with a brother through marriage to increase their chances of winning an election down this way. So this person here in the context of what's his name? Barrack. It was in the organization. Trump organization, Trump committee, Trump freaking golf courses, Trump inaugural campaign, Trump presidential campaign. This is a huge party with a lot of people in an audience. Okay. And yay. That person is going to link her to over here as well. So in the context of this being Barrick, he implicates Kushner through meetings that were had at residences or towers here because he was lobbying several of these countries to improve their chances of winning the election. That comes up ahead of him and his and Kushner's involvement in it. In the context of Weaselberg, he links Ivanka, and Weaselberg links Kushner to the organization that was made through the briberies here. And how one of them negotiated the bribes, the other one put it into the organization. However, she is trying to distance herself from these people, giving them the cold shoulder. Because Mountain sits between them. So what questions? Hold on. Give me a second. Let me go stand up and stretch my shoulders. Everybody okay with that if I take a very quick break just to... Okay, let me go stand up. I'll be right back, you guys. Okay, you guys, I'm back. Any questions that you guys have for this grand tableau? I think I'm going to be on here just a little bit longer, and then I got to go to bed. Oh, thank you, Pamela. Wait, see, Torino, today it was reported that the FBI had a 3-year investigation going on. Barack, they had to have a lot of info. Oh, my knee's wonderful now, Marie. Hi, Rolanda. Thank you, Sterling. So yeah, any final questions? Because it's like 10:30. Moosey is in the other room, hanging out. You're welcome, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Hey, Prairie. Thank you. That's very kind. It's 1:35 a.m. over there? Ugh. Dang, girl, you're up late. Okay. Well, Virgo, just be prepared for my moderated rant at the beginning of the video, but I do think that it's something that needs to be addressed here in the spiritual community of YouTube. So for Patricia is asking, I have a general question. Are the Lennies better at timelines than tarot? I do not know, because I have not read tarot. They 6 years, 7 years. So I am not familiar with those anymore. I'm sorry, I can't answer that directly. Oh, thank you, Tina Marie. It's 12:35 in Kansas, Rhonda. Holy crap. 1:30 in New York City. Yeah, Darren, my coworker today told me about a TENS, TENS unit. She said you put it on your muscles and it sends like a little bit of like electric shock. Not like I'm going to electrocute myself or anything like that, but just to try to loosen it up a little bit. For the person that was asking about time, now, there is ways to calculate time using the Lennies. As I was discussing earlier with the Lennies, that they can be symbolic, they can be metaphorical, and as well as literal in their language. If you look at the cards individually, you will see that they all have a signed number without the pips. And what I mean by pips is, you will see here on the Lennies, the pip is this. It's the playing card insert, okay? You can see that. Well, we're just looking here at the number, okay? So certain cards have a time value associated to them. For instance, this could be 26 days on the 26th of the month, or time unknown because it's book. Mice can be the 23rd of the month or less than a month. Garden can be the 20th of the month or 20 days. Sun can be the 31st of the month, 31 days, or in the summer. Whip can be 11 days or the month of November because it is card number 11. Okay. 36 doesn't really have time at all. 2 Clover is very quick and fast acting, so it can be 2 days or February, because Clover is card number 2. Child can be the 13th up to a year, 1 year minimum with child. Snake can be the month of July or 7 days, okay, or on the 7th of the month. Letter can be the 27th of the month. Anchor is something that takes a long time because it's kind of like you're stuck. You know what I mean? It's persistent. So some cards do have are assigned time value. Like the bear can be on the 15th of the month, or 6 to 9 months, which is the hibernation period of a bear. Now, there are some exercises that you can do to see how timing works for the Lennies. And the way that I did it was I did a list of celebrities that I can go online and verify. And what we did was wrote a list. My little sister and I wrote a list and started pulling cards to see how it would show up. Now, sometimes, so that you can understand the language, sometimes how it comes out can be quite interesting. Let me show you one example that we learned when we were doing that exercise. I had asked when someone's birthday was, and I got this. Mountain, which is card number 21. Cross, which is number 36. Mountain is the 21st of the month, or winter. Cross doesn't have time associated to it. I could not figure this out. It wasn't until later that we verified. It wasn't giving me the dates, as you would look here. It was giving me the symbols. So what was it saying? Winter, because of mountain, on the day of the cross. Christmas Day. Okay, so if you're interested, I would go ahead and perhaps do some exercises like that. Just write yourself out a list of names or birthdays that you do not know, that you can verify online, or family and friends that you don't know. Pull 2 cards and see if you can figure it out, and then later on go back and verify to see how the language came across, because sometimes it can give you days, perhaps not exactly, but an approximation within that week. Sometimes it'll speak to you symbolically, like it'll tell you Easter or Christmas, or something like that. So that's what I would advise for that. Oh, speaking of ego, Tower is right below him. Very ambitious, very egotistical. Well, he's about to get knocked down a peg. This way. So anyways, in regards to this whole tableau, they're anticipating very bad news. They're waiting for shit to hit the fan. However, he is still very optimistic because Sun lands in its own house. He's still optimistic. Also, the shit that's about to hit the fan, it's going to be exposed, and his involvement with everything. This tableau was for a 1-year period, so give it time to play out. I have recorded it. If anything else comes up that I have missed, it'll be here. We can find it. So thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chats tonight. I will try to come on again tomorrow. Jenny wanted me to also look at the committee itself. I don't think that a grand tableau would be the best way to approach that, because that could just be answered with very simple questions. So I might pull some spreads on the inaugural committee and all that stuff. Perhaps revisit Liz Cheney's grand tableau as well as Kevin McCarthy's grand tableau. And if you guys recall, in Kevin McCarthy's grand tableau, it showed Liz Cheney having dominion and power over him simply by position of where she landed in comparison to him. In McCarthy's, or in Liz Cheney's grand tableau, it showed McCarthy having dominion over her because of his position, and it showed her losing power. But in McCarthy's grand tableau, the roles are reversed. He's the one that loses. So it'd be interesting to see that. I'm going to have to do some homework tomorrow, see what other things we should look at. And we'll go from there. So, oh my gosh, I missed a super chat. Thank you to Marby. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sterling. I hope your headache gets better. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. You guys, please, I'll say it again before we close out. Please be very diligent on readers and gurus online that are selling caca for anti-vaccinations. Not saying that they are conspiracy theorists or right-wingers, but it's just people that are ill-informed and subscribe to a belief system that is devoid of any common sense. If you have questions in regards to your vaccinations, do not ask a reader. Please go to your doctor. If any reader or any self-proclaimed psychic on YouTube is telling you not to get vaccinated, or a self-proclaimed guru on YouTube is telling you not to get vaccinated, shut off your computer and run. Okay? That is irresponsible. That puts you in danger. That puts everybody around you at risk. Please, please, please use your heads. Okay? I'm going to wrap it up here, you guys. You all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening, and I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me for over an hour. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.